Feel free to let me know what you want me to write about. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Moonlit Bloom. Amelia Reed loved flowers. She studied them at a big university called Edenfield. One day she read about a special flower in an old book. The book mentioned this magical flower called the Moonlit Bloom, hidden in a mysterious forest near a village called Greenhaven. Excited by the prospect, Amelia decided to embark on a journey to find this rare flower. Arriving at Greenhaven, she felt a warm welcome from the villagers. The streets were lively with people going about their daily lives. Amelia approached a villager named Mr. Thompson and asked about the forest and the special flower she read about. "Good day, Mr. Thompson. My name is Amelia, and I'm a botanist. I've heard about a unique flower, the Moonlit Bloom, said to be in the forest near here. Can you tell me more about it?" Amelia inquired with enthusiasm. Mr. Thompson looked at her with a concerned expression. "Ah, the Moonlit Bloom, you say? It's a mysterious flower hidden deep in the woods. But, miss, you must be careful. The forest is not what it seems, and some say Malachi guards it." Amelia, intrigued, pressed on. "Why do they say he guards the forest? What happened?" The villager sighed. "Long ago, there was a betrayal, a dark event. Malachi got bound to the woods because of it. Folks here don't speak much of it. Best you steer clear of him and focus on your flowers." Amelia smiled, grateful for the information. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I'm not afraid. Flowers have a way of bringing joy. But may I ask, who or what is Malachi?" Mr. Thompson hesitated, his eyes shifting uncomfortably. "Malachi? He's an old spirit, miss. Some say he guards the forest. A tale passed down through generations. Best not to meddle with him." With the words of Mr. Thompson in mind, she still decided to go. As she entered the forest, everything appeared normal. The sunlight streamed through the leaves, creating dappled patterns on the forest floor. The atmosphere was serene, and the air carried the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Amelia felt at ease, thinking the tales of Malachi were just village superstitions. Undeterred, she explored the forest, documenting the various plants in her journal. Only once did something catch her eye, a flicker of movement in the corner of her vision. A trick of imagination, she thought, dismissing it as a play of shadows in the dense foliage. After a day of wandering, she returned to the village hotel. The forest seemed normal. Little did she know, the forest held secrets that would soon reveal themselves. The next day, despite Mr. Thompson's warnings, Amelia's fascination with the Moonlit Bloom propelled her deeper into the mysterious forest. The village of Greenhaven hummed with daily life, oblivious to the secrets concealed within the nearby woods. The sun shone brightly as Amelia entered the forest, the leaves rustling gently in the breeze. The atmosphere felt calm, and the path ahead seemed inviting. With her botanical tools in hand, she ventured deeper into the heart of the woodland. As she walked, Amelia marveled at the diverse plant life surrounding her. The trees stood tall, and the ground was carpeted with vibrant wildflowers. Birds chirped overhead, creating a serene melody that echoed through the forest. Despite the tranquility, Amelia couldn't shake Mr. Thompson's words from her mind. The name Malachi lingered like a whisper in the wind. However, the allure of the Moonlit Bloom and the thrill of botanical discovery pushed her forward. The forest revealed its treasures. Amelia documented various plant species, noting their unique characteristics in her journal. Each step filled her with excitement as she discovered new blooms she had never seen before. While engrossed in her work, Amelia encountered a peculiar sight, a small clearing bathed in a soft, ethereal glow. In the center stood an ancient-looking tree, its branches adorned with peculiar symbols. The air around the clearing seemed charged with an otherworldly energy. Amelia, captivated by the beauty of the scene, approached the tree with cautious curiosity. The symbols on the bark seemed to resonate with a faint hum, creating an almost hypnotic ambience. Her fingers traced the markings, and as she did, the forest responded. A subtle shift in the air heightened her senses, and the shadows around the clearing seemed to dance. For a moment, doubt crossed her mind, but the allure of discovery and the elusive Moonlit Bloom pushed her to continue. The forest, though tranquil, held secrets that unfolded with each step. Unbeknownst to Amelia, the ancient trees whispered stories of betrayal and a spirit bound to the woods. Yet, driven by her passion, she pressed on, deeper into the heart of the enchanted grove. Amelia's botanical exploration intensified as she ventured deeper into the heart of the enchanted forest. The air remained thick with the scent of blooming flowers, creating an atmosphere of both wonder and mystery. Unbeknownst to her, the trees whispered tales of an ancient betrayal and the malevolent spirit, Malachi, bound to the woods. At the end of the day, still intrigued by the symbols and mysteries surrounding Malachi, Amelia decided to learn more about the guardian spirit and the elusive Moonlit Bloom. She headed to Greenhaven's small but quaint village library. The library welcomed her with a creak of its old wooden door, and dust danced in the sunlight filtering through the small, dusty windows. Shelves filled with weathered books and ancient manuscripts awaited her exploration. Eager to unravel the secrets, Amelia delved into the dusty archives. Amelia's fingers traced the pages of a weathered tome, revealing the life story of Malachi. Long ago, he was a woodsman known for his deep connection to the forest. He lived a simple life, nurturing the woods he called home and finding solace in the embrace of nature. However, tragedy struck when a group of outsiders threatened the delicate balance of the forest. Malachi, in an attempt to protect his home, faced betrayal from those he once considered friends. The dark events that followed led to his binding with the very trees he had cherished, forever intertwining his fate with the woodland he had sought to defend. The tales painted a vivid picture of a spirit seeking redemption, forever tied to the woods. Amelia absorbed the details of Malachi's life, feeling sympathy for the guardian spirit whose story echoed through the ages. Armed with this newfound understanding, Amelia approached villagers with questions about Malachi. Their responses were hesitant, and some even avoided eye contact. Inquiring about Malachi seemed to evoke fear and reluctance among the villagers. Undeterred, Amelia decided to return to the forest the next day, her mind filled with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. The secrets of the Moonlit Bloom and the tragic tale of Malachi spurred her onward to go deeper into the heart of the enchanted grove, where shadows held the echoes of a haunting past. Amelia awoke with a sense of anticipation as the morning sun painted the village of Greenhaven in soft hues. Armed with the knowledge gained from the village library, she returned to the enchanted forest, where the air seemed charged with an unspoken energy. The moment Amelia stepped into the woods, an unusual tension hung in the air. The sunlight struggled to penetrate the dense canopy, casting eerie shadows on the forest floor. Unfazed, she retraced her steps, noticing a subtle shift in the atmosphere. Reviewing her notes from the previous day, Amelia observed a striking change in the plant life. What had once been vibrant and lively now bore an otherworldly transformation. The forest seemed to resist her presence, as if nature itself recoiled from her investigation. As she ventured deeper, Amelia discovered symbols etched onto the bark of ancient trees. A sense of déjà vu washed over her, realizing she had seen these symbols in the village library. Connecting the dots, she associated them with Malachi, the guardian spirit bound to the woods. The day unfolded with a series of unsettling events. Amelia felt an inexplicable resistance from the very foliage she studied, as if the forest itself sought to deter her. The symbols became more prominent, appearing almost intentionally placed on the trees, guiding or warning her. Deep in the woods, Amelia stumbled upon a clearing, the very same from the previous day. An altar adorned with the symbol of Malachi stood in the center. Dark forces seemed to stir around her, whispering secrets only the forest understood. Amelia's heart raced as she realized the symbols on the trees were a coded language, a silent dialogue between the forest and its spectral guardian. The revelation left her both fascinated and uneasy, the forest seemingly alive with an ancient, mystical power. As the day waned, Amelia decided to return to Greenhaven. The forest, now cloaked in shadows, seemed to sigh in relief as she retreated. Yet, an undeniable tension lingered in the air, and the very trees seemed to watch her departure with a silent knowing. The village, too, underwent a change upon her return. As she entered Greenhaven, the villagers, once willing to share their tales, now averted their gaze. Fear etched their faces, and the atmosphere had shifted to one of unease. Amelia's presence seemed to cast a shadow, and the villagers, once open, now closed ranks, leaving her with a growing sense of isolation in the village that had welcomed her only days before. Amelia awoke the next day to a village wrapped in a veil of early morning mist, a harbinger of the extraordinary day that awaited her. Determined, she got out of bed and headed out. The village was now entirely deserted. Shops stood closed, and the once lively streets were eerily silent. The only visible figure was an elderly person standing near a dilapidated building. Approaching the elderly figure, Amelia greeted him with a polite smile. The old person's eyes, though clouded with age, held a profound wisdom. In a soft, trembling voice, they spoke of the village's hidden past, a dark day marked by Malachi's binding. As the dialogue unfolded, the old person revealed a chilling prophecy. On the night of Malachi's binding, a mystical flower had bloomed at the heart of the forest. Legend whispered that if the flower remained unburnt every night, a villager would die. Amelia, now enveloped in the unsettling reality of the village's dark history, faced a choice. She could heed the warnings and leave the forest, or she could confront the mysteries that entwined her fate with Malachi's and the haunting flower that held the village captive. Seeing the village completely empty and remembering the fear in the people's voices and eyes when talking about Malachi, Amelia decided to investigate further to help the people of Greenhaven. She said goodbye to the elderly person and headed up to the forest. The entrance to the forest greeted her with an almost imperceptible resistance, as if the very air hesitated to allow her passage. Undeterred, she ventured forth, each step echoing with the tales of Malachi and the echoes of his tragic past. The vibrant sunlight that had once filtered through the leaves now struggled against an inexplicable darkness. It wasn't night, yet the forest seemed cloaked in an eternal dusk. The trees whispered secrets, the very ground beneath her feet pulsating with an energy both ancient and ominous. Amelia, determined to unravel the truth, retraced her steps from the previous days. However, the once familiar paths had transformed. The plant life, once documented in her journal, bore an uncanny alteration. Flowers that had bloomed vibrantly now sagged, and the air felt heavy with an unnatural stillness. Amelia's journey led her to the clearing with the ancient tree and the altar adorned with Malachi's symbol. The symbols etched into the bark seemed to shimmer with an ethereal glow, casting intricate patterns on the forest floor. A hushed tension filled the air, and Amelia sensed the presence of something beyond the realm of understanding. As Amelia stood within the mysterious clearing, the air crackled with an unseen force as she felt an undeniable connection to the guardian spirit, Malachi. In the silence of the enchanted forest, she summoned the courage to speak. Malachi, she uttered tentatively, her voice carrying a mix of curiosity and respect. A subtle shift occurred in the air, and shadows seemed to come together into a spectral form. Malachi, the guardian spirit of the forest, materialized before her. His presence exuded both sorrow and an ancient wisdom that transcended time. Amelia, Malachi spoke, his voice a whisper carried on the breeze. You tread where few venture. What brings you to the heart of the forest? With genuine sincerity, Amelia shared her quest for the Moonlit Bloom, the ancient flower said to hold both the curse and the key to the village's fate. Malachi listened, his ethereal eyes reflecting an understanding of the burden she carried. Amelia, captivated by the ethereal presence of Malachi, couldn't help but feel a deep empathy for the guardian spirit. As they stood within the ancient clearing, the symbols on the tree glowing softly, she ventured, Malachi, why are you bound to this forest? What tragic tale led to your binding? Malachi's spectral form wavered slightly before he began to recount the haunting events of his past. Long ago, he started, his voice carrying the weight of centuries, I was but a humble woodsman, tending to the very trees that now hold me in their spectral embrace. The forest was my home, a place of solace and tranquility. His words unfolded like tendrils of mist, each sentence revealing more of the sorrowful tale. Betrayal befell me when outsiders threatened the delicate balance of our sacred grove by selling the wood of the trees and the furs of the animals in this forest for a healthy profit. Friends turned against me, and in their greed, they sought to exploit the magic that coursed through these ancient woods. Amelia listened, a mix of sadness and anger welling within her as Malachi continued. In my attempt to protect the very heart of the forest, I was held captive by the ones that I trusted to help me keep the forest safe. They have left me in a cage deep within the forest, where I was abandoned dead. After the exploitation of the forest started, I cursed the ones that betrayed me. In my anger, the curse was also transferred to Greenhaven and the forest itself. The trees, once my companions, became my prison. The curse was woven into the fabric of the Moonlit Bloom, and I, too, became bound to its fate. His voice quivered as he spoke of the unbreakable connection forged in the depths of tragedy. The curse not only shackles me but holds the village captive. The Moonlit Bloom, once a symbol of beauty, now carries the weight of a curse that repeats its tragic cycle with each passing night. Amelia, overwhelmed by the depth of Malachi's pain, whispered, "How can this curse be broken? Is there a way to free both you and the village from its grip?" Malachi's spectral gaze met hers, his eyes reflecting an ancient wisdom. To break the curse, the Moonlit Bloom must be ignited with the flame of understanding and empathy. Only then can the darkness that binds us be dispelled. But beware, for the malevolent force that guards the curse will resist. Together, we must face the heart of the forest, confront the cursed flower, and bring an end to the cycle that has haunted this land for centuries. Determined to break the curse, Amelia and Malachi devised a plan to find the Moonlit Bloom. Guided by Malachi's guardian spirit, they navigated the forest's resistance, seeking the elusive flower rumored to bloom only at night, a harbinger of doom if left unburnt. The journey through the enchanted woods was a perilous odyssey, where every step seemed to provoke the ire of the malevolent force guarding the heart of the forest. As Amelia and Malachi pressed forward, the ancient trees seemed to close in, their twisted branches forming a labyrinthine path that tested their resolve. The first challenge emerged in the form of a spectral mist that slithered through the trees. It whispered haunting echoes of past betrayals and tragedies, attempting to disorient and discourage the intrepid duo. Amelia, feeling the weight of the forest's history, pushed through the mist, guided by the soft glow of Malachi's ethereal form. As they continued, a second challenge materialized, a series of illusionary shadows that danced among the trees. These deceptive forms mimicked the shapes of those Amelia held dear, enticing her to lose herself in the spectral display. Malachi, sensing the danger, urged her to focus on the task at hand, guiding her through the shifting shadows with an otherworldly intuition. Despite the challenges, the pair pressed on, driven by a shared determination to break the curse. As they approached the heart of the forest, the air thickened with an otherworldly tension, and the malevolent force that guarded the Moonlit Bloom intensified its resistance. The ancient trees seemed to groan in protest, their branches reaching out like spectral hands, attempting to dissuade the intruders from their destined path. And then, there, bathed in an otherworldly glow, stood the Moonlit Bloom. Its petals shimmered with an unearthly light, casting shadows that danced in the moonlit night. The flower, both beautiful and ominous, held the destiny of the village in its delicate embrace. Amelia, guided by the ethereal wisdom of Malachi, cautiously approached the Moonlit Bloom. The air crackled with tension as the very essence of the forest seemed to hold its breath, anticipating the culmination of centuries-old turmoil. As she extended her hand towards the cursed flower, a dark shadow emerged from the twisted foliage, the spirit that guarded the Moonlit Bloom. The dark spirit, now visible and imposing, materialized in front of Amelia. Its form was a grotesque distortion of the once harmonious guardian, a manifestation of the curse that sought to protect the cursed flower at all costs. With an otherworldly howl, the spirit surged forth, its shadowy tendrils reaching towards Amelia as if to physically restrain her. In response, Malachi, his spectral form glowing with an otherworldly radiance, stepped forward. The struggle between the guardian spirit and the malevolent force became a dance of light and shadow, a cosmic battle playing out in the heart of the enchanted forest. Amelia found herself caught in the crossfire. The dark spirit, fueled by the curse's malevolence, exerted its influence to physically hold Amelia back. She felt an unseen force gripping her, the struggle threatening to overwhelm her senses. Yet, in the midst of the cosmic clash, Amelia's determined gaze met Malachi's spectral eyes. In that moment of struggle, as Malachi and the dark spirit wrestled for control, Amelia perceived an opening, a brief rupture in the struggle. With a swift and decisive movement, she seized the opportunity. In her hand, she clutched a single match, a beacon of fire against the encroaching darkness. In a heartbeat, Amelia struck the match, the flame flickering to life. The dark spirit, momentarily diverted by the sudden burst of light, faltered. Seizing the chance, Amelia lunged forward, her hand trembling but resolute. She reached the moonlit bloom, the match held close to its petals. In the delicate dance between light and shadow, the match touched the cursed flower. A radiant bloom of fire enveloped the moonlit bloom, its petals igniting in a blaze of spectral flames. The dark force stumbled back, howling in agony as the curse that bound it began to unravel. Malachi, freed from the struggle, turned towards Amelia. The guardian spirit's spectral form glowed brighter, a silent acknowledgement of their shared victory. The enchanted forest, once shrouded in darkness, now bathed in the warm light of the moonlit bloom's fire. As the flames consumed the cursed flower, the malevolent force dissipated into nothing, its influence vanquished by the alliance of a mortal and an ancient guardian. The forest, now free from the shackles of the curse, seemed to sigh in relief. Amelia, standing amidst the fading embers, felt a profound connection to the enchanted realm she had helped liberate. The moonlit bloom, once a symbol of sorrow, now became a beacon of hope, its radiant fire casting away the lingering shadows of the past. Amelia, Malachi, and the enchanted forest stood united in the aftermath of the struggle, forever changed by the triumph of light over darkness. The flower erupted in a brilliant blaze, its flames reaching towards the heavens. The dark spirit writhed in agony as the curse that bound Malachi to the forest began to dissolve. The forest, once resistant and evil, seemed to sigh in relief as the curse lifted. As the embers of the moonlit bloom's fire faded, the forest fell silent. Amelia, surrounded by the remnants of the magical blaze, realized that the village's fate was forever changed. The alliance between a mortal botanist and an ancient guardian spirit had broken the cycle of darkness that gripped the village. With a heart full of gratitude, Amelia retraced her steps through the now tranquil forest. As she emerged into the village, the once fearful faces of the villagers were replaced with expressions of relief and joy. Music played, lights twinkled, and Greenhaven had been reborn. After a night of celebration, Amelia, exhausted but fulfilled, returned to her hotel. The next day, a carriage arrived to take her back home. As she settled in for the journey, eager to review her notes on the extraordinary flora she had encountered, she opened her botanical journal. To her shock, all the pages detailing the enchanted forest were ripped out of her notebook, as if erased by an unseen hand. In their place remained a single drawing of the moonlit bloom with an image of herself floating above it. As she shut the journal in shock, she felt a weird, burning sensation on her hand. She looked over to the back of her hand. On it, etched into the skin, was the moonlit bloom.